small indie titles with huge success stories are commonplace today, and even back in 2016, Firewatch's popularity wasn't unheard of. If it were any other game that came out around that time, by now it would probably just be lumped into the ever-growing pile of indie darlings, but Firewatch had a very different lasting impression on the world. The crux of Firewatch's legacy lies in the fact that people really, and I mean really, did not like how it ended for a very long time. And while the ending of Firewatch is important to both its narrative and its legacy, this is not going to be one of those ending analyzed videos. I feel like those have been all too prevalent in the wake of the game's release, and I want to instead pull your focus to the fact that after all these years, we are still thinking about this game. One of the things that might surprise you about Firewatch if you haven't played the game yourself is that it starts you off in a text-based prologue. In the Firewatch developer commentary, the lead writer, Sean Vonneman, talks about how he developed Henry, the protagonist and the character you play as, and why the beginning of the game is so different from the rest of it.
I think we were worried that the team would sort of perceive Henry as a blank slate, as sort of a generic game player protagonist, and we wanted to make sure, or we wanted to get in everyone's mindset, you're playing as a specific guy with a specific life.
Yeah, there's a reason when you play video games that a lot of your protagonists have amnesia, because it's really difficult when you're driving a character around who knows things about their life, or his or her life, that you, who you ostensibly are that person, don't know.
This idea to make the prologue a small, almost independent interactive story works because that interaction builds the foundation for the player's relationship with Henry, while keeping it narratively and mechanically separate from the rest of the game. In the prologue, you learn a few quirks about Henry, his sort of verbal awkwardness, his tough guy facade, his doubt in his own abilities. But the most important information that's communicated to you is that his wife of 10 years is suffering from early onset dementia. The actual language being used in the sequence is short and to the point. You really get the idea that this is something catastrophic, something that Henry will probably never come back from. And so it makes perfect sense when Henry decides to take a fire lookout job across the country. The term walking simulator is often used as a derogatory description for a game with very little interaction aside from the ability to move around a virtual space. But even acknowledging that, there's no better term to describe the gameplay of Firewatch. Once you get set up with your new job, the only thing the game expects you to be able to do is to walk. Firewatch is only a 5-hour game, depending on how much you dilly-dally, but its narrative takes place over almost 2.5 months. At the start of the game, it progresses pretty linearly. Day 1, day 2, day 3 pass, and you're starting to get a real foothold on the world and the slow, steady development of Henry. But then it goes to day 9, and then day 15 and day 64. These are immense time jumps indicated only by title screens, which last seconds. This acceleration of time is something that Camposanto put a lot of thought into. In that same dev commentary, they talk about how they interviewed some real fire lookouts and tried to get to know their experience working this job, and they came away with a pretty unanimous opinion.
What everyone talks about is that the number one challenge with the job is that it is incredibly, impossibly boring.
Because you can't read a book, you can't be doing other things, right?
Not really.
Yeah.
At the end of day 3, where Delilah mentions Kenny's well, what do I do for the rest of the summer? She's like, you sit in that chair and you look out the window. That is actually what fire lookouts really do.
The story skips ahead simply because very little happens for most of the time that Henry is up in his tower. The only thing he can really do is talk to his supervisor, Delilah, who is the only character you get to speak with throughout the game. When you are told weeks into the future, the easiest way to check on Henry's development as a character while you, the player, were away is to pay attention to how Henry and Delilah talk to one another. I mean, at the start of the game, Henry is so reserved that every conversation between the two is unbalanced, and you can really feel that. But as the weeks go on, Henry softens up. He opens up more about what he wants and what he needs. And at that point, Henry isn't a completely different person. You just get a glimpse into who this man used to be. You get to finally see the person that you as the player met at the start of the prologue. A man who stumbled over his words as he tried to talk to some pretty girl at the bar. A man who Henry probably thought he would never see again. Without Delilah, Henry wouldn't grow. The woods didn't change him, and neither did his isolation. It was Delilah, and this is as much her story as it is Henry's.
I shouldn't be out here.
Yes, you should.
No, I just ran away from my problems.
No, you didn't. We all fuck up. Look, so a couple of months before I took this job, I was with this guy, Javier. Ugh, he's incredible, caring, sexy as hell. He was a driller down in Casper. We dated for almost 5 years. I was working with the Wyoming Outdoor Leadership School, and I was obsessed with it. I wanted to be an instructor so badly. And I was sure I was going to marry Javier as soon as I could be bothered. Walls was also a good excuse to get out of town, drink whiskey in the mountains, cut loose. Then, Javier's brother got killed working in Gillette, and for some reason, I didn't come home. Javier said it was fine. He'd go to the funeral, take care of his mom, stuff like that. It'd be easier solo. When he came back, he left me. I came out here, I lied, and told my sister he fucked our neighbor. I've just lied about it for over 10 years. And, for some reason, I wanted you to know. I figured you've told me so much about you, so, there's something about me. We both fucked up.
A lot of people say that Firewatch is about escapism. It's about how you can find yourself again after extreme hardship. And while the beauty of art is you can interpret it however you please, what makes Firewatch so special to me, and why what I think it does is so important, is how long it dwells on these intimate, interpersonal reflections between these two main characters. But the best part of the whole game is when you are faced with the end credits, with your presence as a player forcefully torn away from this world and the characters within it, and deep down you can feel a pit in your stomach. Because until that very moment, you had no idea just how much you cared. And if you ask me, the best thing a piece of art can make you do is care.